Hello and welcome to Racers Now as we look forward to all of the fantastic 6 Group 1s at Longchamp on Arc Day, Sunday the 5th of October. I'm joined by Andy Humphrey, the French racing expert and reporter here for Racers Now. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the second of the 2 juvenile Group 1s on the day. This is the second race on the card, the Jean-Luc Lagardere, 1:15 UK time. This is 7 furlongs for the 2-year-old boys, whereas the first race, the Marcel Boussac, is 1 mile for the 2-year-old girls. In this race, it's a similar story, really, than for the Marcel Boussac. In the Lagardere, similar story where Aidan O'Brien has got 4 of the possible 12 runners at this stage. The market thinks that Italy, for Mr. O'Brien, is going to be his leading contender at the moment, but he is swiftly joined at the top of the market, 7-2 joint favourites at the moment with French Hope, Nighttime, who's had 4 runs and has won 3. I think that might be a good starting point, Hump, to look at Nighttime for Christopher Head once again.
Yeah, he could have a very good start to the day, couldn't he? Especially, him and the third timers could have a very, very good start to the day if they take the first 2 of these. Firstly, I wanted to sort of point out the breeding of this horse is actually he's out of Daytime, whose dam was obviously midday, so obviously that's obviously very well. Yeah. Very purple, very interesting to see. So, as you said, head yard, 4 runs, very experienced. Likely won't be hard to miss. A lot of the Christopher Head runners we know go from the front. The majority of his runners do go from the front. So, if we just sort of move on to his 1400 metre form, his 7 furlong form, he won a Group 3 over 1400 at Dover. This one being on the round track. We'll get to sort of Ray who won it on the straight track. And obviously the round track at Dover is obviously a huge benefit to run around. Obviously, the Lagardere start and the 7 furlong start when we're at Paris Longchamp is you're very quickly into a very severe right-hand turn. So you want to really be drawn low if you can be, because you want to get into that bend quick, skate on and get through. If you're on the outside, you're sort of on ice really going around that bend. I think... if we go back to Nighttime in his run, the ground was given us soft on that day. It didn't look overly soft on the day that he won on. He won that day. Guillaume gave him sort of the kitchen sink really that day as well. He was really stuck into him, so he's well tested. Even when they want to push the button and they want to really give him a whack, then they can do. If we look to the last race, which was a Longchamp race, this is a course and distance race, so obviously that's a huge benefit to him as well, knowing what's going on, as we mentioned there. 4-runner field. Not overly fantastic. There was a Vertimer horse in there, 28-1 Kenzel, maybe used as a pacemaker. It missed the break. He jinked right out the stalls Nighttime. So it was a bit of a shambles of a start really from both of them, unfortunately. But he took it up with 200 to go. If we just skip to the point where Kenzel get up, moved out the way, he took it up with 200 meters to go, and he wasn't for passing. I think I wrote on X at the time it was a fine run. I don't think it was anything more than a fine run. People have got him at the top of the market. I think that, look, we're going to get on to Rayef in a second. Of the 2 French horses, he probably would be the preferred one, but he's not he's not a horse I would be getting on the board with. And I think I actually like one at a little bit of a bigger price that we can mention a little bit later on there. Yeah.
Yeah, just from a British and Irish point of view, I'd be bang interested in Italy if he was the selected Aidan O'Brien runner here. He's not quite got the ratings, if you like, at the moment as Puerto Rico, for example, who won who's been a busy boy, Puerto Rico, but he won the Champagne Stakes at the St. Leger meeting in the second week in September. But Italy is the one that's shortest price of the O'Brien runners at the moment. He was 3rd in the National Stakes behind Gustad and Zavaretti. And I thought if you watch that one back, it was probably too far back at a course where you need to be on the front end at the Curragh. And I think the jockey, Ronan Whelan, kind of gave up that day when it was clear that he couldn't win. It was a comfortable 3rd, put it that way. But I thought he ran with a lot of credit there. And like I say, I thought the jockey down tools when the race was gone. So I'd be interested in Italy. But the other ones in there, the likes of Dorset, Brussels, Puerto Rico, I've already mentioned. We just don't know which ones of them are going to run from the O'Brien yacht. There's British interest from the Solario winner in there at the moment, a bit of Spirit, Clive Cox, a blanket finish, the definition of a blanket finish that was in the Solario. Humidity and Pacific Avenue were 2nd and 4th in that race. Were also amongst that blanket finish, if you like. They finished second Humidity and fourth Pacific Avenue in the Autumn Stakes last week at Newmarket. That's a Group 2, so form kind of boosted there despite them not winning. I thought at Sandown, a bit of spirit hit the front way too early. They kind of split across the track. The ground was starting to chew up a little bit at Sandown that day. Soft in the description, but he hit the front way too early for me, travelling really well under Ross O'Ryan and had to battle back gamely because he was headed inside the final half a furlong. Like I say, it was a blanket finish there. I expect a bit of spirit to split opinion this week. Either you're going to look at him as if to say that he's won a blanket finish, very average renewal of the Solario, or he's better than that. He travelled really well into that race at Sandown, got lonely, and still battled back in good spirit to win. So I think he'll split opinion. Charlie Appleby has got Time to Turn in there as well. We've not seen him since July. He won a listed race, usually a good listed race. Won once upon a time by Rosalian at Ascot on King George Day. He looked a nice prospect that day, but we've not seen him since. Earlier in his career, he was in front of a bit of spirit as well. So that was kind of interesting as well. He's got that form there. That's Time to Turn. He was in front of a bit of spirit in a novice race back in June. But on ratings and what we've seen so far, I think the French have got more of a, as Hump said at the start, really, the French have got more of a chance in the Boussac than they have the Lagardere, if you ask me. Similar makeup by the same ownership, same trainer, Green Spirit in the first race, and Nighttime in this race. But I think the French are up against it to keep this one for the home team, the Lagardere, if you ask.
Yeah, so the two I was going to mention, obviously, Raif. Raif was the first one. Half to Rayevka, who was there in the comment, who will actually run later on in the card, hopefully in the Abbey. Undefeated so far. Look, it's I don't think I'm not sure on him really. He was very green. First time up, we was looking at the refreshment stand at Deauville. Both of those runs actually have come at Deauville, over 1,200 and 1,400. But he was good enough, he was good enough to win that day. The horse that was second that day is still a maiden, so you can pretty much write that form off. Moving on to the next race, obviously he was drawn in the middle in the Group 3. Look, he looked a bit of a monkey. He wasn't the easiest to handle. He did do good work in regards to sub 11 furlongs, and he put it to bed really, really well. But the third, Daytona, was easily beaten in the Royal Lodge, and fourth, Bourbon Blues, was fifth in a listed race at Haydock, so I wouldn't read too much into that either. He's untested on anything like Paris Longchamp. Obviously, he's done both of his running at Deauville, so that's not going to be easy for him to maybe acclimatise himself to. It's going to be very much an out-of-body experience for him personally as well. The second one is Campacite for Jean-Claude Rouget. Now, he won again at Deauville last time over the mile. Unfortunately, he did have a bit of a high head carriage, but he carried 1,600 metres, no problem whatsoever. He looks like a really, really fine horse. But after the race, Rouget said they were going to probably stay at the mile, so we're really unknown if he's going to come here or not. Ground-wise, it was pretty easy, pretty simple. He said there was no problem with that as well. But a lot of unknowns in regards to him, so I wouldn't want to be taking a 7-1 about him without knowing full well that he's going. In conclusion, I was actually with the bit of spirit myself. I really liked Morris Dancer. Morris Dancer is a horse I thought if he came here would be a very short price and be a very good winner of the race. I think he's definitely worth the price. I think he was 12s this morning. I think they've chopped him a little bit this afternoon into 9-1, but I still think that's a great price. We might get a couple of extra places in here as well. I just really like that form. I think that form's going to be great. Of the French horses, like I said, Nighttime's probably the more preferred one, but I would definitely stick with a bit of spirit each way, probably at 9-1, or hopefully a little bit bigger when more firms release more prices.
Well, interesting that the French racing enthusiast is siding at the moment with a British trained horse for the Lagardere with a bit of spirit. It'll be Italy for me, but I'm just going to wait until we get confirmation of the Aidan O'Brien running plans. We'll be covering all the big 6 Group 1s here on Races Now, so make sure you tune in and checking out all of our videos. Thank you.